This is Adam King from Aliens Don't Ring Doorbells, and you're listening to Madness to Creation.
Go ahead, say it.
The album is coming out this Friday. What is the most exciting thing about release week and everything like that? As somebody who is not obviously familiar with releasing an album and all that, so what are like some of the major preparations you all have had to do and stuff on release week?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really this has been a different process than I think for all of us, in that it's been such a long runway. Like there's so much planning and so many different, all the videos and the PR and everything. Whereas I think, we all have self-released a lot of our music in the past, and this is the first thing that it's like, wow, I can't believe it's finally happening after this long. I can't, like, so many hurdles and obstacles and challenges and growth opportunities, and
definitely learning a lot.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna, we're kind of realizing too, it's like that's like day one is when the record comes out, and it's been so much lead up time for us just in the making and whatnot. It feels good to have it out into the world, I think.
Absolutely. And the name of the record is 2030. And what I listened to one of the singles, and I just really appreciated it kind of sounded almost futuristic, yet there was this retro vibe to it. What makes Gone Gone Beyond click, and what makes you guys attract like so many fans? I mean, you guys have played at Coachella, the UN General Assembly, South by Southwest, and so on and so forth.
Kat, I mean, I don't know if you have any. I mean, for me, I think what makes it interesting is that there are so many influences in the creation of the music, and beyond there just being so many influences, I think we give a lot of space for each other to shine and to bring those influences to the table. So you really get this unique synergy of genres of music, of cultures, of so many different things. But instead of really trying to do any one thing in particular, like, okay, we're going to do electronic or we're going to do folk, where we're at now is that we're like, okay, well, the four of us make very interesting music together. Let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
And it's been really beautiful to not have the pressure of having to do any one thing in particular, but just be like, all right, we're four people from four very different places with some very shared interests and values, and who love making music together. Let's see what happens. And that's what this record is. It's really like the first record of us coming together and really creating something completely together.
Yeah. So what would you say some of those, this for anybody, what would you say some of those shared values and interests that you have naturally besides the music?
I think our spirituality has been a real tie that binds this group. We're from all over the place, and really like musically we're from really different backgrounds, which is kind of why the music has such a big span to it. But I think as all of it is sort of heart-based music, we all grew up singing, in churches and synagogues, things like that. And I think that's sort of, we all relate to worship, music as worship music,
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, not necessarily in a religious sense at all, but just
not
more
in a religious sense.
We have a deeper connection to music that we kind of feel like lives beyond this physical realm, that actually, the idea of like the muse in the room, like spirit or energy or car or chi or whatever you want to call it, is a big part of our process of working together. And so we all kind of believe, I think, in this existence where there is an energy in the room beyond, just ourselves, and that our goal really is to tap into that energy as well, so that we can kind of like create on the same wavelength together. And so I think what Danny is saying too is like that kind of, that idea is what draws us together, and our history of like singing in choirs or in in synagogues. But I feel like another thing that really is interesting is which is what David touched on a little bit, is like how actually different we all are. Like we're all kind of a group of lead artists. Like we've all kind of been the respective leads of all of the bands we've ever been in the past. And I think in this band, it's really fun to see that all of us get to take that like center stage with performance. So that's something that I find really unique about the band, is that we all do step into like a lead role in the band.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's so important, like no matter what we believe, is to tap into that spiritual realm, so to speak. Like, for example, like as I shared with you all before this podcast, that my dad is fighting cancer, and like today, like a dog randomly came up to him and just sat with him, like just out of nowhere. And I believe that came from a spiritual realm and stuff. So tell me about a time in your band, whether it's live performance or in the studio, where you just felt like this overwhelming energy, so to speak, and you were just overcome by it.
I think for me, Little Moon, making Little Moon felt really
that's literally what Danny was just saying.
Yeah, no, because like we were all in my apartment in Santa Cruz, like in my little bedroom, all kind of crowded around the bed, like recording this music. My friend Nigel stopped by and was playing violin for us, and it seemed like every note he played was perfect for exactly what we needed in the song. And our energy collectively of just coming together and writing it and figuring out the harmonies, and it all just flowed like so beautifully, and all of us were like equally hyped on it, which is not always the case with our music. Like sometimes we write a song and there's a lot of negotiating back and forth on lines or like what it should sound like, and with Little Moon, it just felt like everything just fell into place, and we all felt the energy in the room. Like I think it felt like we were kind of like high on life from the experience. That was my experience anyway. Sounds like it was for you too, Dan. David.
I mean, a lot of the songs unfolded that way too. I mean, the songs were written around the world in so many different places because we travel so extensively. And then we wrote all these songs over the course of, the last 3 years, essentially 2.5, 3 years. So it's like, there were so many moments we'll be like sitting in Costa Rica and I'll be like, I feel like a song wants to happen, and I'll just play some chords, and then Danny will come down. He's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm playing some chords. And then all of a sudden we have like the beginnings of Another Earth, or same thing. Like, we came and we moved to Topanga Canyon, and same thing. I wanted to write a song about my house plant that came in. I was setting up my new cabin, and we wrote this whole melody, and Danny's like, I think you should let me sit with that. And like we'll bring back the lyrics for Canyons. We're like, okay, maybe that's better.
One moment I think we'll all remember too was in San Francisco on New Year's Day. It was early morning, and
Marigold.
Like Mel's mom had just passed away, and Marigold was sort of for his mom, and I sort of sang it for him that first morning, and Kat came down, and it wasn't just like crying, it was like really getting to weep together, and that was a really like, I don't know, it was a really bonding moment, I think, between everybody. And it was New Year's Day, and I just remember that being a very like everybody sort of, I don't know. It was a really special moment though, in having his mom just pass, and you hear it on the record too. It closes out the record, and just you really hear it in the performance Mel gives on this record, towards his mom. I think it got captured.
Yeah, and from what I gather from the music, I would just describe Gone Gone Beyond's music as healing music, so to speak, just because it has that energy and everything like that. Like for example, like with my dad's cancer battle, this is in a weird sort of way. This has been sort of like a healing process for me because it's brought me perspective to life and everything like that. Take time to appreciate the little things. What are like the little things that you appreciate in life that make you happy or really appreciate things? And also talk about like your favorite song on the track, not on the track, but on the album 2030 that's coming out.
So
I mean,
there's a couple questions in there, right? Like one of them is kind of what makes us feel grateful, and then the other is our favorite song.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, sure. I mean, I'm one of my kind of main intentions with my life is to be full of awe and wonder and curiosity. And I think the way that like practically applies as like a spiritual teaching is that like to be full of joy wherever you are. And I mean, the things for me is I'm really grateful. I live in nature in Los Angeles. I live in Topanga Canyon, and which is this really special place. You know, we're like, 7 minutes from the beach, and we're by a little creek, and I just notice myself more and more every day. Like it's been an interesting time because I haven't been traveling as much as when we're normally touring. So I get time to be at home, and I wake up in the morning and I get to look out, and there's like a tree touching my house. Like that's like, I'm like in the trees. And,
that's so cool.
And so like I look out my window and I wake up in the morning, and like I really like, I honestly, I swear to God, man, I regularly just kind of giggle a little bit because I'm like looking at the tree. I'm looking at the light and the sun like dappled going through. It's a beautiful sycamore tree and some big oak trees. And it's like the little creek, and sometimes I can hear like the frogs and the birds in the morning. And I'm such a nature junkie personally that like it's the thing that keeps me probably most inspired. And that I think the other one of the shared value things also around the whole band is like this reverence of nature and this love of like simplicity and the majesty of just like the unfoldment of the moment, that it's just all like perfectly unfolding, even with all of all of the cancer and the disagreements and the masks and all of the challenges of so many things that are just unfolding that are challenging, that I just find myself being grateful for being able to be in nature. Yeah, man, I don't know. That's a thing for me.
Favorite song?
Favorite song? I don't really have one. I think the song that I've touched more than anything on it is A Better Way to Love. That one's kind of has, the largest paint strokes from me, I guess, on it. I really like that one. I guess what I love so much about that is that song is Canyons. And that very intentionally it bookends the experience of the record. That it's the first song is just like about coming home and finding home kind of thing in Canyons. And A Better Way to Love is like the same song, but with the pre-chorus as the chorus now. And now there's a better way to love her. And then you can think of, how you want that to interpret her. For her, it could be the earth, or it could be a person. But I mean, I think, and we all have our different archetypal hero's journey narrative of what this album is to each of us, right? Every listener is going to have that unique experience. But for me, it's, it was really a beautiful, interesting way to like start and end the album, in two different genres and two different styles, but with the same song.
I really like Another Earth was a special moment for me personally, and really write it together. And Little Moon, as we were talked about before, was like definitely a magical moment for all of us to really lock in together. So it's definitely a hard choice because different days will feel differently. Yeah. But I think that Another Earth and Little Moon to me are kind of like really special ones because of the memories.
Space ones. I think Gravity is going to be my pick. It seems to be the one that I come back. It's just when Kat comes in on the second verse, it's always a moment.
That might be, I feel like, one of the most powerful moments.
Yeah, and it's sort of, I remember thinking, with the lines, because like when we went on this journey, it was very much like a leap of faith that I left New York after 20 years and sort of to hear Kat as my, the subconscious saying like, what if it doesn't work, but like, it just like hits me in the gut every single time. I don't know if any of that made sense, but that's my favorite moment on the record.
I wanted to hear the original question. Everyone got hit with double questions. I wanted to hear the things that everyone's grateful for.
I mean, there's boundless things to be grateful for, one of which is just getting to be alive right now. I'd say that's a pretty epic special gift, the gift of life. As we all know, it can be taken.
As far as things that make me joyful, my mom's 80 and had a stroke, but she is but I mean, not bad. She's not like immobile or anything, but we got bicycles a month ago. And she got a tricycle, I got a bicycle, and she likes it. And we've been able to take bicycle rides, long bicycle rides over the past couple of months. And that's been something, I'm very grateful for recently. I don't know if we're connected again. Are we connected?
Yeah, that's awesome. So past couple months, she's been able to bike. All right, and just basically, are you guys planning any like live streams or anything like that, or are you guys planning on going on tour in support of 2030?
Definitely, yeah. We're like getting ready to go on. We're just starting to play shows again, which is really nice. So definitely check back. There's going to be a ton of things all over the country and hopefully all over the world pretty soon.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. And what else would you like to add in regards to 2030, where people can find you guys and stuff like that?
I mean, we really kind of hope. Yeah, I mean, the album's coming out on Friday, so I'm not sure when you'll be listening to this, but I mean, you can find it anywhere. Just look Gone Beyond on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, anywhere. And I guess I don't know. Personally, the major thing my intention is that this music is people's personal anthem for whatever they stand for, but like that it invokes an experience, like an emotional experience, that people listen to it and they feel something, and then trust that whatever they're feeling is that we're imbuing the music in a healing way,